Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome to Conjure Live, where your counsel speaks. And this is a weekly space for ancestral counsel, clear guidance, and next steps on your second act. I'm Dr. MoNique, the Conjure CEO and a trusted advisor and ancestral guide for high achieving leaders in their second act. So if you're here today, then you are possibly in your second act and have been an achiever. And when I say high achiever, measure that by your own experience. High achievers can be people who have raised children, people who have donated time in their community, or have had some success in their business or in their career. You are a high achiever. If you're here today, you are a high achiever, and you have probably been a leader on many levels in your lifetime. Before we begin, I want to open this space by welcoming the ancestors. That's always important because we want them to come in because we're seeking their guidance while we're in this space today. Bring to mind an ancestor who inspires you. It could be a blood relative. It may be what I call a family, which is friend family, people that we've chosen to be our family, a teacher, or someone you admire in history. Just think about who that person is. And now, if you feel comfortable, drop their name in the comments, letting them know that we're welcoming them into this space. And if a name comes up as you're moving along, that's okay too. Just start to put their names and we'll just welcome them into this space. So thank you to the ancestors that have invited to be here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your wisdom and your guidance. Now let's invite all of the spiritual allies. Granny Jean, yes, my spirit guide standing bear. Perfect, beautiful. Yes, let's invite them all into this space. Yana Tana, yes, this is great. Invite them into the space and welcome them here. To the divine ones and our spiritual allies, please join us. Ancestors of blood and bone, ancestors whose names we may not even know. Ancestors we admire and trust, we acknowledge you. We call on you for your guidance, rooted in truth. And to all the wisdom keepers that guide us and support us, to the ancestors, spirit guides, angels who walk with us in this season, we invite you too. Thank you. Open our hearts, open our minds, open our spirits to the wisdom we need right now. And let's let this space be a space for clear seeing, steady listening, and for wise counsel from the spiritual beings that are walking with us in this season. Thank you for your guidance, your protection, and thank you for your love. And now just take a deep breath and just let it out. And as you return, I want you to bring to mind one decision that you need to make. It doesn't have to be a big decision. It doesn't have to be the whole story. Just something that's coming up or something that you're in the middle of, and you need to ask yourself a question about what the next steps will be. And I'm asking you to do that because today our topic is on paper it makes sense, but it doesn't land in my body. On paper it makes sense, but it doesn't land in my body. So here's what I know is true for many of you. And I know this because of the people that I've worked with over the years, that you receive an idea, you may receive an offer, or you receive some sort of opportunity, a promotion, maybe you're getting a new client, some type of a financial offer, a relationship that really looks good on paper. Everything aligns with what you've been taught. It aligns maybe with the goals that you have. It aligns with what you thought you wanted in this particular life. But your intuition says, nope, not right now. And when you tune into your body, sometimes it feels off. It just doesn't feel quite right. And it's not chaotic or anything. It's just not clean. It just doesn't feel right. Your spirit doesn't settle. And sometimes that no that we're getting from our intuition is coming from ancestral guidance, is coming from our spiritual guidance. And it's not negativity. Sometimes no is protection. Sometimes no is just, it's not the right timing. And sometimes no is your counsel is trying to keep you from abandoning yourself. And so I want to share with you a quick story about how that happened for me. Many, many years ago, when I was working in a corporate environment, I was offered a job that looked perfect on paper. It was everything that I had thought I wanted in my career. It was a promotion, more leadership responsibility, a real challenging experience in my field, and it was supposed to be closer to home. The hiring director asked me to give my decision, and I said, I'd like to confirm the next day. I wanted to go home and think about it and, talk to my family and make a decision. And that night before I went to sleep, I had already decided that I was going to take it. It was the right move. It was great. Everything on, paper, everything that I saw was perfect. But in the early morning hours, I woke up abruptly to a soft voice that said very clearly, don't take it. Don't take it. Now, I sat there for a moment, feeling a little bit uncomfortable with what I just heard because I knew this was like perfect on paper. This was perfect. Everything that I had asked for and wanted, this is what I saw was going to be a great opportunity for me. And when I received the message, I could really feel it in my body. There was something that kind of tightened in me, something in me just knew this wasn't the right decision. This wasn't the right offer for me. I got dressed, got into work a little bit early, and called up the hiring supervisor. And I ignored the message and I accepted the job. And what was great on paper ended up not being all that great in real life. The commute that was supposed to be easy ended up being a 90-minute commute both ways. They kept moving the job further and further away. The environment was completely chaotic. Leadership was missing. The team was misaligned, and the culture was really, really heavy. And within just a few months, I knew that this was not the right place for me to be. And what I decided is I had gotten the voice. The message came. I felt it in my body, but like I said, everything looked perfect. It looked like, the next step that I was supposed to take on my journey. But after that, I made a vow to myself. From that day forward, I would always listen to my body, to my spirit, and to the guidance that was coming in. And not only would I listen to it, but I would actually ask for it. I would ask for it. I didn't even necessarily ask for the guidance that time, but I knew from that day forward, I needed to ask for the guidance. And when I received it, I needed to listen and not allow my mind to tell me that I needed to do something different. And so in our second act, the cost of ignoring the signal is even higher. We don't have the same appetite for chaos, and we don't have the time to allow ourselves to venture into something that isn't the right fit, that isn't aligned. And when we're not listening to our bodies, when we're not listening to the messages that are coming through our bodies, that's exactly what happens. And that's really what we're talking about today. So I have a question for you. When something doesn't land for you, so your body will usually speak first. In the chat, just type one word. When something doesn't land for you, what do you feel in your body? It could be a tightness, a heaviness, kind of a buzzing, or it could be you feel a little foggy, pressure, fatigue, or something else. Just think of one word. What do you feel? Yes, tight and heavy. Yeah, stomach cramps. Yes, yes. Absolutely. Those are some of the things that I've experienced too. My fingers begin to kind of tingle. Yeah, neck pain. Yep, I've experienced that one too. Some neck pain. Absolutely. So those are different ways that we know if we really tune into our bodies, we know that the messages are coming through and we need to stop and listen. And the more you practice this, the more you become in tune with it, the more it will show up very quickly, and you'll suddenly know exactly what it is that you need to do. You may not know the exact path, but you'll know that whatever is before you right then and there probably isn't the direction for you to go. And here's where the distinction comes in. Support and clarity are not the same. Support is what I call something that steadies you, and clarity is what directs you to your next step. So you can feel like this ancestral presence and the spiritual presence. You can feel you're not alone. But when it comes to deciding what needs to happen, sometimes nothing really settles for you. And sometimes people think that when that doesn't settle, that they're actually being blocked. And sometimes your ancestors are just stabilizing you before they direct you. And that stabilization actually shows up in the sensations in your body. Think about that for a minute. It shows up with the sensations in your body. So, all of the things that you just told me that you feel, that is spirit. That your guides, your angels, your ancestors, your soul, your intuition, they're all speaking to you to let you know that something isn't quite right. Something's still a little bit off. Because what I know is that wisdom never rushes you into choices that you'll regret later. You never will be rushed into choices that you'll regret later when you're receiving that spiritual wisdom. Now, we live in a culture that trains high achieving people to move fast, to act quickly, to prove capability through speed. But your second act needs you to be a little bit different. It's asking you for something a little bit different. It asks you for authority, inner authority, not outer authority. It's asking for alignment. And it's asking for choices that your body can actually live with. Choices that your body feels right about. And that's why the body becomes such an important site of guidance for you now in your second act. It's so important for us to tune into our bodies. So type yes or just put a thumbs up in the chat if you can feel a presence, an ancestral presence, a spiritual presence, but you still second guess what it means. Is that you? Do you feel the presence? But for some reason, if there's a message that comes through or a sensation in your body that comes through, are you still second guessing it? And many people do because we're not taught how to receive that guidance or to even trust it. We're not taught how to do that. So if you're experiencing that, just type a yes. Let's talk a little bit of why the body really matters. Yeah, I'm seeing some thumbs up. Exactly. I've been there where, I shared with you the story of how that happened for me early on. And there have still been occasions where I'm like, yeah, but think it's right. I think it's right. And then I'll make the decision and I'm like, hey, wait a minute. No, that isn't the right one. I feel the presence, I feel the messages. That isn't the right decision for me at this time. But oftentimes we'll either follow through with it or we may start with it and then we're like, maybe I need to pull back a little bit. Well, let's talk about why the body really matters. In your first act, many of us were trained to seek authority outside of ourselves. We were looking for validation from other places. Sometimes we were looking at what looked right on paper. We were taught to decide on things based on credentials and logic and what looks respectable. what keeps other people comfortable, and what is the smart approach on paper. And some of that served us. We're all here where we are today because of some of the systems that we were taught that we needed to use to make decisions. And so it served us in many ways. It helped us build our careers, it helped us provide for our families, and it really created, in many cases, stability. Not necessarily joy all the time, but it definitely created stability. But here we are now in our second act, second opportunity to do something so much more exciting, so much more aligned. The second act requires a different kind of guidance. Not just what is logical, but what is really true for us. And very often, the first place truth arrives for you is in your body. And the reason is because your body doesn't negotiate the way the mind does. Your mind can make a case for almost anything, but your body is honest. Your body is honest. If you're feeling that sensation in your neck, if you're feeling it in your belly, your body is being honest about what is taking place. But your mind sometimes will want to override that and go back to logic and all of the tools and resources that you used before to help you navigate your life. But you have permission now to do this completely different in your second act. Now you can listen to your body. Now you can slow down a little bit and let wisdom show up for you. Now you can seek guidance. And what I find with many people is that we hear things like, I got a gut feeling. It didn't sit right in my stomach, or my chest felt tight, I felt heavy, I felt relief. And those are some of the things that we say, but we never really paid attention to them. We were sort of saying them, but we didn't necessarily make the decisions based on what we were saying. And you can go back maybe in your life where you did that, where maybe you had a decision or had something that you felt like you wanted to do, or a direction you wanted to take, or a relationship that you wanted to enter into, or a job that you were thinking about taking, or even a financial move. And you got a gut feeling. Didn't quite sit right in your stomach. Your chest may have felt tight. It felt a little heavy. And you didn't feel a sense of relief. And that's when we know that we've been experiencing this all along. Now we just need to lean into it a little bit more. So your body is used by your counsel, and it is your first messenger. Not because you're weak, because you're capable. High achieving women and leaders can't outthink their own truth in their bodies. So your wisdom council of angels, ancestors, and spirit guides will often send messages in a place you can't talk yourself out of, your body. Start to notice when that comes up. Start to notice even more, tuning into your body on a daily basis. Asking your body, what are the messages that you're sending me? Really begin to connect on a deeper level with what is in your body. Now, I know for some, maybe aches and pains and things like that, we're not talking about the everyday experiences or the occasional experience. You'll start to notice where your body is speaking to you. And once you start to tap into that, then you'll be able to discern when it's telling you to move, when it's telling you to slow down, when it's telling you to change direction. So the goal is to become more discerning, to learn what your body feels like when something is truly aligned versus when something is misaligned. Because alignment has a sensation. Alignment has a sensation, but self-abandonment has a sensation too. And you have to be able to discern which one of those sensations is telling you to move forward or telling you to hold back. And sometimes it's just a matter of just asking the right questions. So here's where many leaders get tripped up. When something doesn't land, sometimes we label it as a flaw. When it just isn't feeling right, we will call it a flaw, like I'm overthinking, or I'm afraid, or I'm too sensitive, or I should be grateful, or I should be excited. And that was something that came up for me when I went through that experience. As I'm writing, into work, I'm thinking to myself, maybe that was just the voice of fear. Maybe because I'm stepping into something bigger, I'm being a little fearful, or I'm overthinking this. And that will often come up when we are starting to tune into our bodies and we're receiving messages. Our mind will start to tell us these stories. But what if it isn't fear? What if it's just discerning? That when you feel this in your body, it isn't about fear. It isn't about you being too sensitive. It isn't about you overthinking. It's just that you're being discerning. What if your counsel, your ancestors, your spirit guides, what if they're all saying, slow down? Not yet. This comes with a hidden cost. This requires you to create a boundary that hasn't been named yet. What if that's the message? That we just need to slow down for a minute. Oftentimes we think we have to rush into these decisions because maybe they'll go away real quick. Maybe there won't be another opportunity. But if it's not feeling right in your body, there's a better opportunity that's coming behind it. If you're getting and feeling a message that says no, there's a better opportunity coming behind it. So here's the truth that I want you to hold. If yes to a decision requires you to abandon yourself to make it work, it's not aligned. If yes requires you to not listen to what you're feeling in your body, or yes requires you to not listen to what spirit is sharing with you, then you know it's not aligned. And if a plan requires you to silence your intuition, to keep the peace, it's not aligned. And if you have to override your body, as I said before, to say yes, that's when your counsel is speaking to you. Paper can't measure peace, it can't measure integrity, and it can't measure what your spirit will carry after you choose. It cannot measure it. So if it doesn't land, don't rush to label yourself. Just ask a better question. Where are my ancestors? And what are my ancestors protecting me from? What are my ancestors protecting me from? And that's something we're going to talk about that a little bit more next week. But what are my ancestors protecting me from? And really stop to think about that. And now I want to take you on a guided journey where you are going to meet with your ancestors. Now, if you're driving or you're in a situation where you can't close your eyes, please don't. Please do what you need to do to focus and just go back and listen to the replay on YouTube or in our Facebook group, Ancestrally Rooted, and really just take it in. And if you're able to take it in now, then just close your eyes and place one hand on your body. And just take a slow, deep breath. And exhale. And let your shoulders soften. And just notice any sensations that you have in your body right now. Notice where you decided to place your hand and notice what you're feeling there right now. And now imagine you're standing at the entrance of a calm and very safe space. It might be a doorway, a garden path, the edge of the water, a warm room, out in nature somewhere, out by the beach. Let it be simple. You're right at the entrance and you're looking out, and it's a beautiful place. In this place, you feel completely protected. Only those beings that are ready to be in the right relationship with you may enter into this space. And as you step into the space and just feel the beauty of that space, your ancestors begin to gather. And just ask the question, ancestors of love and truth, who is the ancestor or wisdom keeper assigned to support me in this season? And ask them to come through. You may feel an image coming through. You may feel just a presence. You may even notice a change in sensation in your body. You might feel warm. You might feel some pressure. You might feel ease. And for those who don't feel anything, it is absolutely okay. You're sending the message to the ancestor that you're ready to connect. And this ancestor comes forward and is with you. You feel their presence and you just greet them silently, letting them know that they're welcome. And then ask, what is the next right step for me before I decide? What is the next right step for me before I decide? And just pause. And just let the response come as it comes. It may be a word, a symbol, a simple instruction, a boundary, a clear wait, this isn't the time, an invitation to rest, or a reminder of what you already know. What is the next right step for me before I decide? And let this ancestor just show you a word, a symbol, a simple instruction, a simple feeling in your body that is your place of knowing. And then ask one more question. What do I need to stop feeding so I can hear clearly? What do I need to stop feeding so that I can hear clearly? And once again, you may receive a symbol, an image, a message, or a gift of some sort. It may even be a color. Just receive that gift now. You don't have to interpret the gift. Your job is simply to receive. Now take one breath and let that guidance settle into your body. And then silently say, thank you. I receive, and I will move with steadiness. Now just gently return, wiggling your fingers, relaxing your jaw, and open your eyes if they were closed. So if you'd like to share what you received, you can share it in the chat. I received blank as my next step. It could be a sign, a symbol, a gift, just one thing only, or you can just say received, meaning that you received something. You don't necessarily have to share what it is. But if you want, just drop it in the chat. And For those of you that are on Facebook, I'll come back and take a look after we finish. And for those that are here with me on Zoom, I will be taking a look as you pop those in. What did you receive? Or just put received? Just received. Received a treehouse. Perfect. I was told to rest. Yes. Wonderful. Yeah. Oftentimes, when we go through this process of connecting with the ancestors and asking the questions, we receive some symbols and signs. And even though you may not exactly know what it means right now, take that and place it on your altar. If you have an ancestral altar, if you don't, then you just put, I don't have an altar, and I'll see what we can do to make sure you get one. I actually have a guide that I can share with you if you don't have that guide already. But you can take that symbol and place it on the altar, and it could be the actual item, the image, or the information that you received, or it could be in writing, it could be a drawing, it could be a picture that you get from somewhere else. Place that on your altar as another welcoming sign to your ancestors that you're ready to receive their guidance, and that will help you with your connection. Okay, so let me close with something very direct. When it makes sense on paper, but it doesn't land in your body, do not rush to override yourself. You may be receiving guidance that is deeper than any strategy alone, deeper than any great opportunity that you can think of. And you just want to stop in that moment and just listen and don't override it. And this is why Conjure Live exists. Conjure Live is where your counsel speaks. Your wisdom counsel of angels, ancestors, and spirit guides will continue to speak. And if you want personal orientation, if you want something that is personally working with you, your ancestors, your spirit guides, your angels, and a real practice that will help you use your body to receive messages cleanly, clearly, and exactly, that is what we do in Conjure Wisdom. And I invite you into Conjure Wisdom if it feels right in your body for you as your next step. Conjure Wisdom is a 90-minute private ancestral guidance counseling session and a wisdom keeper orientation where you learn who your wisdom keepers are. You learn tips and techniques for how to connect with your ancestors. And you receive specific guidance from the ancestors to help guide you and give you clarity for your next steps. This guidance comes from ancestral intelligence, a spiritual source that's deeper than any strategy alone. You'll have an opportunity to ask, to receive, and to leave knowing what your next steps are. And if you're interested, I will put the link in the comments on Facebook when I'm finished. And for those on Zoom, I'm going to pop that in there right now. And if it's something that you're interested in, please take a look. And if you have questions, then definitely send me a message and I'll be sure to get the message, set up a time for you and I to talk to see if this is the right next step for you. But this is always a wonderful opportunity for you to have your connection with your ancestors and to really learn who's working with you in this season of your life and how to connect with them on a deeper basis, one-on-one for you, and not something where it's a group situation where there are a lot of ancestors that are coming in, which is really powerful. But right now, at this point in your life, you're in your second act. If you're needing to make some different decisions, you need that information and you want that information quickly, then this is a one-on-one opportunity for us to do that. I want to thank you again for being here and to remind you that we'll be here next Wednesday as well, 1:30 p.m. Pacific time, 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be right here, and I look forward to you joining us. Just a reminder, the replay is available in the group. Ancestrally Rooted on Facebook, and it will be available on YouTube tomorrow. And for those of you who are joining me on Zoom for this live, stay after for our actual Conjure talk, where you'll have an opportunity to ask questions and receive some guidance. If you are listening on Facebook or if you're listening to the replay on Zoom and you would like to join us, the replay on YouTube, YouTube, if you're listening to the replay, if you're joining us live on Facebook and you want to actually attend next week on Zoom, just type Zoom into the comments and I'll be sure that you get the link so that you can join us in this after session that we do, that I don't record. It's just an opportunity for people to ask questions and to learn a little bit more, and we have a juicy talk. So come and join us. Thank you again for being here. I look forward to seeing you next week, and bye for now. Okay, let's stop the recording.